What's up, everybody? This is your boy DC Black coming to you yet again with another review. I'm back at it, reviewing Masters of the Universe Revelation. It is a Netflix show based off of the He-Man franchise. So, any of you guys know anything about He-Man? Basically, He-Man is about this. It's centered around this prince in this planet of Eternia. This prince gets some powers from Castle Grayskull, where he's imbued with the power of Grayskull, and he becomes the hero He-Man. And then the Masters of the Universe are those that are basically his partners. Think of it almost like the Justice League if He-Man was Superman, and it was just called Superman and the Justice League. Um, I know me personally, this was a show that was in the 80s. I'll be totally honest. I did not grow up on the 80s show. I am a 90s baby. And I actually grew up in the early 2000s show that they had, which I thought was on Cartoon Network, which I thought was really freaking cool. That was my introduction into He Man. My dad was excited about the show because he was such a huge He Man fan that I had to check it out. So when I saw this, I was like, oh shoot, they got a He Man show coming out, and because I know at the end of the month we have the final chapter in the Transformers show that they're releasing. So I saw this, I was like, oh, okay, let me check this out. And I read, and then I was hearing a lot of the stuff that was coming out about the show. A lot of people were big mad about this show because of what was happening in it. And I'm not gonna. This will be absolutely no spoilers whatsoever in this. See, this is hard. If I was to classify this show, this basically apparently Masters of the Universe was Revelation was going to be called Masters of the Universe, the end of the universe, which is really wordy. So I see why they just broke it down to Revelation. Makes sense, but show is interesting. Like I I get why so some people are mad because of the baiting of what one of the characters is she or isn't she. And I'm gonna kind of leave it at that. Uh they also there is a point in this show, the first episode literally takes you by the neck and just like tries to choke you out. Because the what happens in the first episode comes out of absolute left field, but the show, and then it kind of goes on from there. I was looking at it, and the first thing I thought about was Endgame. I think it's interesting how a lot of shows now, when it comes down to like that hero genre or whatever, superhero genre or whatever, or telling a story that revolves around like the hero's journey, everybody want to look at Endgame, which lets you know that Endgame is such a good film. But this is not what this review is about. This show, I'm conflicted because part of me did not like this show for a number of reasons. A lot of characters did not act like themselves. One character in particular, first episode blew the freak up, and it just came out of nowhere. The character wouldn't have necessarily done that and done it in the way that it was done in this show. Um, you have other characters that's just out of people just doing stuff that just makes no sense. And then the final shocker, by the time you get to the last episode, also came out of absolute nowhere. Like I I don't know. By the way, this was made by Kevin Smith. Um, I don't know what Kevin Smith was thinking about when he did this. When he sat down and when him and the writers of this show really sat in the writers' room and did this, I really don't know what he was thinking because he made a lot of choices and characters made choices that they wouldn't have actually made, and it just don't seem right. There's not Prince Adam was probably the worst character in this show for me. I hated Prince Adam with every fiber of my being with this show. and not saying much because there are several characters in this show that I just don't like. Um, yeah, Prince Adam in this show, Prince Adam, I did not like his character. Tila, I really didn't like her character either. But by the end, I kind of came around. But I still coming out of it, I did not care for her character. This show really didn't do any. It just didn't do anything for me. It was it was like after the first jarring shock that happens in the show, then then you think certain things about to happen with certain characters, and then all of a sudden it just yanks you and something else strangely happens. Oh, excuse me, let me grab my charger and charge my laptop really quick. um Certain characters do things in the show where it's just like I ask like why? What made this what happened? How did we get here? And I watched and there's only 5 episodes. So and this is part one. So I'm very curious what's gonna happen in part two. I am very curious because if it's anything like part one, this is gonna be another rough 6 episodes. Yeah, this show it didn't do it for me at all. I did like the callback. There's something that happens as you guys see on the cover. The poster. There's two swords, and I like that because thought it was kind of dope because I had the Skeletor action figure, and the Skeletor action figure, he had in the 2000 cartoon early 2000s cartoon, he had swords that were halves that could, he could separate, turn into two halves to be a dual wielding, or he could combine them back together and they become one. And that was kind of in the similitude of like this here. So I thought that was kind of dope. But yeah, I don't get it. Like, why? Why? Some of the characters just do stuff, and the stuff that comes out of their mouth, it's like, what? I don't know. And then character, especially at the very end, one character in particular makes a choice that makes no sense, just no sense at all. And it's like, what you did this just for the sake of doing it? Like the character actually had character progression, and when you watch it, you'll know what character in particular I was talking about. The character makes actual progression through when they actually show up and they show up as themselves. You see the progression of their character over the matter of a couple episodes. This character changes and evolves and grows beyond the scope of even the 80s early 2000s cartoon, and then turns around and does the same thing all over again, completely undoing the character development that they already did. So unless this person in the next part, and that's why I don't want to be too negative because it's just half of a story. We don't have the full story yet, so I don't want to be too negative on it. Excuse me, but this show is weird. It's so weird, and people do stuff that makes no sense. Um, I got the strong character to me that that was the strongest. I would probably say it's a toss up between Orko and Evelyn. And then even then, it's just like, oh no, actually no, I would say it's Orko. Orko probably was the character I really felt for because the things, even a lot of the stuff that Orko was saying, you you discover something about Orko that I thought was really dope, and is I think Orko's story is and what how he kind of goes his little story arc that he has here in this, I think is very relatable. But this show is weird. And no. This show is so weird. And like I said, I don't want to say anything that gives off some spoilers, but I don't some people are concerned about a certain character being gay. I I don't know. I didn't get that. I I got the vibe that they were just really really close friends. Like that's one of the homies or whatever. I didn't get the fact that they were gay. I didn't get to come walk away with that mindset. But I understand why people did though. Far as str- yeah, characters, like I said, strong characters. I really didn't feel like there was no character in here that they did something to the point where I actually cared about that character, except Orko. Orko is the only character that at the end of the day I actually did care about that character. The rest of them, no. The ending was a total shock, complete left field, and when it ended, I was like, if the next part of this don't come out in 2020 in 2021, I don't know if I'm going to care enough to watch the second part. I'm probably still going to watch the second part because I'm reviewing the first part, but oh, this show was bad. This show was so bad. It was bad in the sense of like people, like I said, characters did stuff that they would not normally do. There were some issues where I was just like, some stuff where I was just like, okay, this is kind of boring. And then there's some things where I I don't know. I get the whole idea of subverting expectations, but there's nothing wrong. And I feel like that's what Masters of the Universe Revelation is in a nutshell. It's a thing that was supposed to subvert your expectations, but at the end of the day, think any. I think it would have been just fine to do the thing that everybody wanted done. I think it would have been just fine. So I'm gonna leave it here. What would I rate this? I'd say this was just a very mediocre show. Very mediocre show. Is really weird. I want to say mediocre right now because we don't have the second part that goes with it. After, I think maybe my review of this might change after watching the second half of it. I don't know, but as of right now, I'll probably say it's mediocre. Middle to, I would say 3.5 out of 5. Um, it's just mediocre. Like there's nothing inspiring about this show. And like I said, the ending was so shocking. The ending in the beginning is so shocking where I was just like, whoa, what wait, what excuse me? So yeah, that's kind of how I am how where I'm at with that. So if you guys like what you've seen here, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Tell me how you feel about Masters of the Universe Revelation. Did you watch it? Did you not watch it? Do you even care about Masters of the Universe or not? And yeah, I will see you when I see you.